How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
I just trying to work out when I saw you last. I think it was at our dathliad celebration in Chapter back in March, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So listen, you finished your apprenticeship back in March with the BBC.
Yes.
Obviously, you have 18-month periods for the BBC, so you would have started the September before. You were with us for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, Ffion, where did you find the advert for the BBC apprenticeship that you were part of for 18 months?
Well, I heard about it before I found it.
Right.
So I was part of Jason Mohammed's Media Academy, and they talked a lot about apprenticeships. And he felt strongly that the BBC production apprenticeship would suit me.
Yeah.
And so I went home and I Googled it, and I found it on BBC Careers,
Right.
and started the application process. It's quite a long process, or at least for me it was. Maybe I was slow. But yeah, so I started that process, and kind of there was a video aspect to it, so I was kind of preparing myself for that and what I thought I might say. So yeah, I did it over a couple of days, but yeah, the first place I saw it was on BBC Careers.
Okay, so with the Jason Mohammed experience, was it pushing apprenticeships they were doing more so than pushing the BBC apprenticeship, or?
They were pushing apprenticeships in general. There was talk about sort of like Channel 4. There was talk about Sky, and ITV, and yeah, there's quite a few that they would just talk about. But yeah, the BBC one, just I don't know, it just seemed like the one I wanted to go for the most. I did apply for the Sky one as well,
Right.
but I put like my heart and soul into the BBC application. That was just the one from, like, you know, the job description. I just thought it sounded like it suited me the most.
So Ffion, did you come? So you were at the academy. I presume the academy was at Cardiff and Vale College in Cardiff, yeah?
Yes, it was.
So were you doing your A levels there as well, or?
Yeah, I did 3 A levels in geography, business, and art.
Right.
It was never my intention to go into media. I hadn't really even thought about it. But I bumped into Jason, who was just starting the academy for the first year that they'd done it.
Right.
And I honestly just went for the fun. I just went for to try something new. I thought that it would probably look good on my CV. It was just something different that I could do. Um, and yeah, I just went on a whim, and then I really enjoyed it. And it threw a massive spanner in the works because I was intending to go to uni to do illustration.
Okay.
And I'd already applied on UCAS, and I'd done like my portfolio upload, I'd done my interviews, and that was the plan. And yeah, and then I really, really started getting into the academy, and I did like podcasts, and I did sort of radio and a lot of filmed things for YouTube. And I started then just sort of doing them on my own. So we'd
Right.
been down to the tram shed before,
Right.
and they were very happy for any of the academy students to come back. And so a couple of us did go back and started making our own things. And yeah, it just sort of spiraled from there, that I was like, oh, I actually really like this industry. Like I've found that I'm even doing it in my spare time. And
Right.
yeah, and so that just completely changed it, and I went for the apprenticeship instead.
The job role you went for, was it just as a whole you were applying for an apprenticeship and didn't know where you were going, or were there specific roles and specific departments to go for?
For me, I'm not sure if it was the same for everyone, but I went for the Welsh speaking apprenticeship.
Right.
So that was the first kind of decision, because that was, you know, two different positions. So I went for the Welsh speaking apprenticeship. And the only sort of question I had in there that would decipher where I ended up was if I was more interested in radio or sport. Um,
Okay.
And so I went for radio. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, I went for radio there. Yeah, that was the only difference I had, but I'm not sure if for the English speaking there might have been more sort of questions to decipher that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what happened with me, and I think that was only sort of to give an idea of what you preferred. I think a lot of sort of where you ended up or what suited you best came from the interview.
Right.
There were sort of, I don't know, there were ways to say what sort of content you wanted to be part of, like what sort of content you wanted to help, create.
Hmm.
Um, and some people in the interview did talk about sport content, and I didn't. So I think there was there was sort of clear there too, like the sort of thing we'd like to be doing. I was quite interested in sort of the current fun stuff. I kind of mentioned in my interview, I think, that I liked sort of like the this morning layout,
Yes.
of
Yes.
like this is just come in, let's talk about it and talk some rubbish about it maybe. It's current trends and fashion and food and so um yeah, I think that's kind of how it was decided as well.
Okay. Because and amlwg, you do speak Welsh, ti yn siarad Cymraeg.
Yes, I didn't.
So then, how long a process was it? So when from you applying for the apprenticeship to all the different interviews and stuff you had to do to getting
Mhm.
onto it, how long was that process?
Oh, it was long. I
Was it
can't think.
months?
Oh, yes, well over months. I think I applied. It was at the beginning of the year, maybe even like
Gosh.
the end of the year before. Like it was a good 6 months, I would say.
And were you doing your A levels at the time? Were you in full flow of your second year of A levels then?
Yes, yeah, it was.
Okay.
Um,
And then the academy, the Jason Mohammed Academy, how does that work? Is that one day a week or is it
it was kind of blocks. There would be times that we would do maybe one day here or there because we needed to touch up on something we'd done. But
right?
it was mostly, yeah, blocks that we would do sort of a week or 2 weeks where we'd have sort of like we'd go there for one of our lessons.
I
Um,
see.
and yeah, and then we'd have a break of maybe like 3 weeks. It's quite a long time ago, so this could be inaccurate. Um, and yeah, then we do sort of another block.
Okay. And this scheme is still going, isn't it? I know, well, but it
Yeah,
was
it
still
is.
going.
Yeah, at Cardiff and Vale College. Yeah.
So
Uh,
realistically, without this scheme, maybe your interest on the media might not have come through.
yeah, absolutely not. It was one of them things that I just hadn't even considered, and
Mm.
I'm not sure I ever would have if it hadn't fallen into my lap like that. And it turned into so many things because I was a Welsh ambassador for the college.
Wow.
And then when I started doing the academy, that sort of transferred then into the ambassador stuff that I'd done. Like I'd gotten more confident. I would do videos, and I just sort of made me do more for that. Um,
Hmm.
which, yeah, in its time as well, because I was one of the only Welsh speakers, one of the only, um,
Yeah.
in the academy, and so I did like quite a few like Welsh bits to add to it, which
Fantastic.
obviously then was a good thing for the Welsh ambassadors because there was only a couple of us doing that, and it kind of raised awareness for the Welsh speakers in the college.
Oh, yes, fabulous.
It just showed up one day and helped everything.
So, Ffion, remind me, were you a Welsh learner, or was Welsh first language in your home?
Welsh wasn't first language in my home, but I went to a Welsh, education my whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd always been able to speak Welsh from school, um, but nobody in my family does. So when I went so in between my A levels and my GCSEs, I did a makeup SFX course,
All right. Okay.
and that wasn't offered in Welsh. So that was the first year that I hadn't used my Welsh, and then I went on to A levels. I didn't really want to go back to my school when I was a year behind.
No.
And so I went to do A-levels at Cardiff Vale because that was, well, that college, I don't know, I was really drawn to it anyway. And then continued, learning in English. And it's true, if you don't use it, you lose it.
I was going to ask you, did you feel like you were losing your Welsh a bit?
Yeah, I did. I only gradually, and I know that if I, spoke it for a week, it would come back. But I never had that opportunity to speak it for a long period of time because obviously there was no Welsh speakers in the home and there wasn't many in the college, and a lot of them were, well, either people that I didn't see that weren't part of the ambassadors, or they were the same as me, that they could speak Welsh, but they were a bit rusty too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was, well, one of the reasons that I applied for the Welsh apprenticeship, because I wanted to keep up my Welsh.
Fantastic.
I knew it would be a tool that I could use, in the future with my career, and I was always very proud of it anyway, because there are sort of, my dad was a Welsh speaker, but he's not around anymore, and I was always really, proud of the language, and of my parents putting me into a Welsh school. So I did really want to keep that up, and the academy helped with that, and the apprenticeship helped with that.
Fantastic. And then you eventually got, after your months and months of waiting and applying and interviews and everything, you got a place with Radio Cymru, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So which is full 24/7 Welsh language radio station.
Absolutely, yes.
How did you find that at the beginning? Because I'm sure it was quite, could be a bit daunting, couldn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit daunting at the beginning. The first couple of weeks, I think a lot of it as well was my confidence was low with speaking Welsh. And so it was like in my introduction statement, it would be like, "Hi, I'm Ffion, sorry about my Welsh." and, and people would say to me, like, your Welsh is fine. And I think a lot of it too is that some words or accents weren't the same.
Yeah.
And only some, there were still a lot of people that were Welsh speakers from South Wales, but there were also Welsh speakers from North Wales. And I don't go very far. I don't go very far. So even when I was speaking Welsh every day, like, that wasn't the accent that I was used to, like, hearing in school. Yeah, and when you're working, when you're busy, you are speaking fast. You're saying, "Oh, like, we need this," and da 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 da. And so there were a few times where I was a bit, "Oh, is my Welsh good enough? Like, have I heard that right?" I'd maybe ask a friend to read over, like, a brief that I'd written. Yeah, that grew over time though. And I did really enjoy being, I don't know, part of it again, speaking Welsh again.
Yes.
And so yeah, it was, I was scared to start off with, but the more I spoke it, the more people reassured me. Yeah, it was okay, and I felt much more confident, and I feel like my Welsh improved more than it had in school because I was speaking it socially, which I'd never really done. Like, in sort of in school, in my school anyway, it was like, speak Welsh when the teacher's around. And
Yes.
then, you go around the corner and speak English with your mates. And
Yeah, that reminds me of me being in school as well. And it was quite, it became a bit uncool to speak Welsh.
it was uncool because it was like you were listening to the teachers, like, it's like you were,
Yeah.
with the two shoes.
Tell me a little bit about the programs you were working on at Radio Cymru. What was the first sort of job that they gave you? Was it a researcher, or were you a BA? Or?
So I was a researcher,
Right.
and I spent about 7 or 8 months on Tristan ac Emma.
Right.
So that was the radio show I worked on most. Really enjoyed it. The topics were just what I wanted, like, the people that I was contacting, like, there was never a dull day,
Yeah.
It was always some happy story about pets or something that would make you smile. So yeah, that was really nice. But I did get experience in the BA role as well.
Okay.
So I would be researching in the week because it was only on once in the week on a
Yes.
Friday. So I'd be researching in the week, trying to get contributors, and writing the briefs and checking everything over. But then the day of the show, I didn't need to go off to research the next program because it was a week away. We had
Okay.
plenty of time. So yeah, I'd either sit in studio and sort of just watch it all unfold,
Yeah.
or yeah, I'd be on the phones.
Brilliant. Did you enjoy the BA role and the researcher role? Was there one that you were thinking, oh, this is what I'd like to do?
I definitely preferred the researcher role. I felt that I could go at my own pace a bit more,
Hmm.
um, and the phone calls were, very relaxed, and I quite enjoyed writing briefs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I did really enjoy the researcher role. The BA role, it was okay, but I felt the pressure
Yeah.
of it being like live and obviously with phone connections and with accents and with the speed. I sometimes would be a bit flustered. Like they would be, we'd have to find out where they were calling from, and it might be a village that I've never heard of, and you know, there's a lot of syllables in there. I
Yeah.
would be a bit I'd be a bit flustered about it. But it was okay. I got it. It was fine. I just had to make sure I got the spelling right and the pronunciation right.
Yeah.
Um, but I did feel the pressure slightly more in the VA role. I'm not sure if that came down to the Welsh, the phone connections, or
Oh.
that didn't suit me. I didn't mind it, but yeah, the research role definitely suited me better.
And you're relying a lot on technology as well, aren't you?
Mhm.
And do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
I no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I know what you mean. It's there is that added pressure because you're live on air. I'm presuming as
yeah,
well, aren't you?
yeah, absolutely.
Um, so you were on to Sun and Emma, so that was on every Friday morning, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get to experience any other programs while you were there?
Yes, so I worked on 3 other programs. So I worked on Sioe Sadwrn, um, not many times, but I worked on a, like, OB with them,
Lovely.
um, and went to Cardiff Museum for BBC 100, and, yeah, just sort of went with the presenter and sort of said what was around, took some pictures for social media, um, and yeah, so that was really fun. And then I also worked on Sioe Carol,
Oh, yeah.
which was really fun, different experience, because that show's on in the night. Um,
Right.
really, really enjoyed that, to be honest. I really enjoyed being in the office in the night. Silly reasons, I just really enjoyed it. And that show was a lot more based on music. Obviously, there was a lot of other things involved, but at least for the episodes I was there for, um,
Okay.
felt very, yeah, felt like there was more music than talking,
Okay.
because of the time. Um, and yeah, I just thought it was lovely, and I mean, all the presenters I met in Radio Cymru were lovely. But yeah, I just really enjoyed Show Carol, and then just before I finished my time at Radio Cymru, I worked at Bore Coffee,
All
um,
right. Okay.
and that was really fun as well. I asked for sort of like this morning theme, like programs, and that couldn't be more like the topics that they'd bring up. It was right down my street, like talking about different trends, talking about what's come up this week, in the silly parts of the news or the fun parts or
Yeah.
all sorts of topics. Um, but I always found myself working on anyway the fun bits. I don't know if that was coincidence. Um, but I got to speak to sort of people that were on a reality show on S4C. So we had a catch up with them every week on Bora Coffee, and that was really fun because it became part of my job to watch the episodes. I
Yeah.
was
Get
like,
you.
this is brilliant.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Getting paid for this.
great. I was like, I'm watching Fit Cymru. That was the program. I was watching
Yeah.
Fit Cymru, and then speaking to everyone on the show, and I just felt I was having a great time. Um, and I got to speak to them every week as well, so it was like I was having, yeah, a catch up, and I'd get to see what's happened on the programme, and yeah, that was really fun. It was really nice because they'd be sort of like, if I came up with ideas for that programme as well, I could mention to them like, "Oh, I saw this thing on my phone the other day, like, we could talk about this." So, like, an example was there were something butter boards were a
Right.
thing sometime last year.
Right.
We used to just decorate like a wooden cheese board kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
um, with butter and different, like, toppings on the butter, and then you just sort of, like, dip your bread into it.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was a trend at one point, and I loved being able to bring something to the table, like, and I always
Yeah.
had, but I felt like I kind of knew more for that show. Yeah, that was really nice. It was really nice on all of the programs to get to share my ideas and to be listened to, and to have feedback, and then some of my
Yeah.
ideas to actually get through to the radio, and it was really, really, yeah, exciting.
I suppose it was good for them as well to have somebody, of somebody a bit younger, I would imagine, in the team.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope it was helpful. I do feel like I hope so. I definitely did bring some sort of younger ideas maybe forward. I think
Yeah.
I know that some of my ideas might have sounded silly, but it's the type of stuff I would have listened to. It's the type of stuff I'd
Oh,
be interested in. Like I was interested in when Marks and Spencer's brought out new Percy Pig stuff.
oh, yes.
I found that fun. Um,
Yes.
and I also, knew a lot of my friends were sort of buying a load of things, and it felt like there was this Percy Pig craze going on. And that's relevant, I found. It sounds
Definitely.
so silly, but that's the sort of thing that would come to my mind. Um, it sounds so silly. Yeah, I spoke about sort of. I remember bringing forward like um the 10 best hot chocolates you can have at Christmas.
Mm.
Because that's the sort of thing that I watch, like on like when I'm on my phone on Instagram or whatever.
Yes.
Um, and I'm always interested in the silly things, like the butterboards and the Percy Pigs.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's all around food. It's
Yeah,
orientated
and
around
it's
food.
light-hearted, like especially for shows like Borough Coffee, like people, it doesn't. I didn't find that it needed to be heavy. I think
No.
people that were listening to it did just want to talk about hear about something fun, something they hadn't heard yet, something,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
light-hearted.
Exactly. And while you were working for Radio Cymru, you were based in Central Square, in BBC in Central Square, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And how often were you going in? Was it a sort of job that you could do partly at home or?
Yeah, it was. I did do some days at home. I probably did about 3 days in the office and 2 days from home.
Okay.
Um, I did enjoy being in the office, but I found that a lot of people worked from home, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't really love being in the office when it was quiet.
No.
So yeah, I sort of made my arrangements to come in on the days that I knew everyone else would be there.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, but it was nice. It meant that like I could look after the dog certain days. My mum works part time, so it meant that I could try and align it to that, so we didn't have to give him to anyone to look after,
Yeah.
which was helpful. Yeah, it was good. It was nice to have that balance. I quite like having, yeah, the balance of being at home or in the office.
Yeah. And tell me a bit about your next move for the BBC then, because obviously you've been in Radio Cymru for a good few many months.
Hmm.
And then you had a bit of a move, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So I found through talking to the other apprentices that I did have an interest in TV,
Hmm.
um, and the different roles there. So yeah, I was talking to one apprentice in particular, Reem. I'm sure you know Reem.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were talking, and she was quite interested to come to Central Square and to try radio, and I was quite interested in going to Roth Lock.
Mm-hmm.
trying TV. And so, yeah, we just put it out there to everyone we could, to say, could we try it for sort of a short-term basis, see how it works? And yeah, eventually it got planned for well, it was originally meant to be, we were asking for a 2 week.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
I know.
Okay.
Um, and then we were asking for a 2 month, because it wasn't really us asking. It was, we said, oh, we don't mind if it's a 2 week thing. We don't mind if it's this, it's that. And yeah, then it was offered to us that we could swap for 2 months. Um, and that was great. You know, I was really excited, and so was Reem. And yeah, so then I went over to Weatherman Walking first,
Ah.
and spent on and off about a month or two there, because there was a time when I was sort of working with Weatherman Walking and Bargain Hunt at the same time.
Ah, right. Okay.
But yeah, it started off at Weatherman Walking, where I was running on the shoots, but kind of researching,
Okay.
in the office. You know, I'd be making the phone calls to the organisations, and the different places we could go walking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my position there. And then I started on Bargain Hunt, and like I said, I was working between two for a little bit. Yeah, then I was just getting in the swing of Bargain Hunt then, when the 2 month was kind of coming to an end. Um,
Yeah.
but me and Reem both got in contact and said that, you know, we loved our previous placements and we really enjoyed it, but we don't feel that we've got enough out of this yet, and we'd like to stay where we are. And so we did end up staying, and so I was extended to stay with Bargain Hunt for another couple of months, and then eventually was extended to stay until the end of the apprenticeship.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, there's so much I could talk about with Bargain Hunt. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really good. I don't know where to begin. I mean, the shoots were amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I
Where were
hadn't-
you? Where were you going? Because obviously it's a very popular network program, isn't it?
Mhm. We went to loads of locations. There's a few that stand out as my favourite, but I think does partly depend on the weather. I think everywhere looks a bit better with the weather nice. Stroud was amazing. The weather in Stroud. Anyway, so we went to quite a lot of places in England.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of places. Little villages like Oswestry is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Elsecar. Um, Quite a few places that I didn't really, know of.
No, this is
Really
the
fun.
thing, isn't it? I don't know about you. When you work on different types of series, you discover parts of not the world, but the country you live in. You know.
Yeah, we did do some filming in Wales, in like Builth Wells, and Carmarthen.
Lovely.
Then my absolute favourite was that we went to Belfast.
Wow.
Could not believe that. I was amazing. Absolutely loved it. It was really nice as well because it was nearer the end of like our contracts.
Right.
So it was really nice just to have like a really fun shoot and get to see a new place and go on the ferry. It was really fun. Um, and yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Um, I really just got into like the practical working, because
Yeah.
I think because I had been working at Radio Cymru for about 10 months, I think,
Right.
8 to 10 months. And I really enjoyed that, but it was, primarily office based. And I didn't, that was fine, but I didn't realize then until I got to Bargain Hunt how much I enjoyed the practical work, the
Yeah.
traveling, the setting up equipment, the learning about the cameras, and making everything look pretty for the shots,
Yeah.
and getting to know contestants face to face instead of on the phone. Um, it was just really fun. I found the days would go really fast because I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Um,
They do, don't they? It's just sort of like you sort of pinch yourself thinking I'm getting paid to do
I
this.
know, I know, it's amazing. And even then, coming back to the office, that was a really good balance, because when I'd come back to the office, then I would be pretty tired from like You know, if we were on a bargain hunt fair, could be a lot of walking. You know, if it was a big fair, it could be a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd be quite tired. And it was nice then to be in the office and I enjoyed doing the paperwork, you know, because I wanted to sit down. I wanted to sit down and concentrate on something, and you know, it was nice. I needed to have that balance.
Yeah.
Because if I was, you know, working like on the shoot every day, I probably would wear myself out, and then the same for the office.
Exactly.
And
It's recharge, isn't it?
yeah, and it was nice as well because, you know, it would be only a few of us that would be going on the shoot. It would be like the runners and only like one of the researchers and one of the PMAs. It'd be nice then to come back into the office, and you know, everyone would ask how it went, and you know, how was the food. That was
Very,
usually one of the
very
main
important.
questions. Very important question. And yeah, then I really enjoyed it. And also the shoots were always changing too, because it wasn't always a fair. You know, it was either a fair or an auction. And there were so many different locations to go to. The contestants were always completely different to the last. So yeah, it was really nice.
But explain to me though, Ffion, because your apprenticeship finished in March, didn't it? March of this year. But am I right in thinking that they took BBC then took you on as not as an apprentice, but as a fully fledged runner?
Yes. So after the apprenticeship finished in March, they extended my contract to June.
Right.
And yeah, then I stayed with them then until June, which was really good. Really glad about that. I really wanted to stay, and you know, everyone said to me like, "Oh, you're not going. Don't worry, you're not going." But you don't believe it until it happens.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I am actually going. So yeah, that was really nice. I had that extra bit of time to prepare for, you know, what came after bargain hunt, and to also just work as a, you know, to have a runner credit without it coming under
An
apprentice.
apprenticeship. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's given you that like 3 months extra work as a fully fledged runner, stroke researcher. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, now that you're not working at the BBC, in a way, now that you haven't got the security of the BBC, how? Be honest with me. How hard have you found it since leaving the Beeb? Is it a cruel world out there, or?
It is a cruel world out here. Yeah, it has been hard. It has.
Okay.
You find that you're applying so much. You know, I'm applying all day. I'm writing new cover letters for every application, and it's, you know, it's tiring. It's tiring to be constantly trying to sell yourself, and yeah, sometimes I feel like I've done a day's work by just applying.
Yes.
You know, I've been on my laptop all day and I've refused plans, and then to still sort of not get anywhere, that is quite like disheartening. But I know that, you know, part of the thing is that I'm quite new into the industry, and a lot of it is contacts, and I don't have many. I have got some, but I might have only worked with them once, you know. And if they were choosing between me, somebody they've worked with once, and somebody that they've relied on for a couple of years, you know, it's still that, I don't know if I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And I've done quite a few interviews. It's been difficult, but I have managed to get some freelance work. So I'm still pushing to work freelance for now. But if longer contracts came along, I would be very happy to accept them. That security is like always worrying, and I think it's absolutely fine being freelance. You've got security being freelance if you've got connections. If you've got constant work, you know, if it's one day here, one day there, that's all right, as long as it's frequent, as long as it's steady. Yeah, I have had some freelance work. I worked in a few different roles. So I did a marshalling job on a feature film.
That's for the location department, yeah?
Yes, it is. So I did that for a couple of days, and I did enjoy it. I did. I'm still working out in some aspects what I want to do in the long term.
Yeah, I was going to ask. You know, when you're giving your CV out, what are you selling yourself as? Is it a runner? Is it a researcher?
It changes for the job.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
changes for the job that I'm going for.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, when I was working in Bargain Hunt, there were so many aspects to it. They would be working on the camera, they'd be assisting the researchers, assisting the casting team. You know, there was quite a few aspects within the job, and I enjoyed it all. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of left me in a position where, I mean, it's better to enjoy it all than, you know, enjoy none of it. It's
Yeah.
better to know that I like loads of things than be like, oh, I don't know what I like. But yeah, I'm currently still in a position where I enjoy running. I don't mind carrying on running. I enjoy cameras. I'm quite happy to be a camera trainee, um,
Okay.
be a camera assistant. Yeah, I've got a CV for that, and I enjoy that. Um, and then marshalling, I'm quite happy to do that. It still gives me a chance to work on sort of like different productions than I ever have. You know, like a feature film and Bargain Hunt are very different things.
Yes.
And yeah, it's nice to do that. You know, I've worked in studio based now, and I've worked in scripted and non-scripted. I've worked on short films and feature films and factual entertainment. You know, it's given me a chance to sort of try lots of different productions, no matter
Yeah.
what the position is, because I know that I can be a marshal, I know that I can be a runner, I know that I can be a camera trainee.
Yes.
I know that I'm capable of all three. So I've not made the decision yet of what career I'm pursuing. I'm just gonna enjoy it for now.
Def- Definitely. I think you're in the right mindset, because until you've tried all these things, and it's not just trying it once, it's going
Mhm.
back to something and trying it again, because as you've just said, it can be very different per the role can be the same, but very different on whatever production you're working on.
Yeah.
Can I ask another question, Ffion, about so when you work at the BBC, you had security of your pay going in on the 15th of every month and blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Now I'm presuming you've got to invoice companies. How are you getting on with that?
It's okay. I do get a bit unsure of it sometimes. Like I don't know for sure what like time we might have left, because it'll say on the call sheet what time we wrap, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's a bit later, or I feel like it was a bit earlier, and I've like forgotten to make a note of it.
Hmm.
That's the only thing that I've like come across where I've been like, how many hours do I put down?
Yeah.
Um,
Have you sorted out a daily rate for yourself, or is it different? Do they tell you what they're paying?
so
Or
far I've been given a daily rate, you know.
okay,
So yeah, that hasn't been an issue for me yet. I think
okay.
I'm gonna be nervous the first time I have to tell them a daily rate.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, "I'm really sorry, guys."
no, it's always good to talk to other people that are doing the same job as you as well, and see what the
Yeah,
going rate is as
yeah.
well.
And I have got like a really good support system of people working in the creative industry. I think the apprenticeship has given me that. But so is just working. You know,
Yeah.
like everyone from Bargain Hunt have been so helpful in my application process, in my like starting freelance, um, giving me confidence when I need it sometimes, you know. And then
Yeah.
the same for the apprentices, you know, they've been there when I've struggled, and they've understood the struggle, because, you know, it can be difficult going from, you know, an apprenticeship or any long contract and not having something lined
Hmm.
up. We're not having a lot of contracts, or trying to go freelance for the first time. It can be really difficult, and I think everyone I've spoken to has an understanding of that.
Yes. But what's great about it is that it hasn't frightened you off either, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you've got, you know, if it frightens everyone off, then there's gonna, you know, gonna be loads of jobs with nobody doing it.
yeah.
You've got to keep going, you
Stick
know.
in there.
Someone else will keep going and get your dream job. You know,
Exactly.
you've got to keep going.
We were talking about the Welsh language earlier, and would you say that you see that now as an asset of being able to speak Welsh?
Oh, absolutely. It's such an asset. It's
Mm,
a massive, massive asset. If I didn't speak Welsh, I wouldn't have got the apprenticeship. If I didn't speak Welsh, I probably wouldn't have pursued media as far, even in the academy, because I wouldn't have pushed to sort of have it coincide with the Welsh ambassador. Um, and I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I did. You know, I went to Eisteddfod yr Urdd with Radio Cymru. That was amazing.
Mm.
And you know, I wouldn't have been able to do that job. I wouldn't have had the experiences I had researching, you know, at Radio Cymru, which was so valuable. Like they've really helped me, even when I've been doing different roles. You know, just having them sort of communicative skills,
Yeah.
and it helped my grammar. You know, my writing, especially in Welsh. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have had the same experience at all. And I do feel that going forward, I've got more options. You know,
Yes.
there's not just, you know, I'm not limited to English speaking productions, which is absolutely fine as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are loads and loads of English speaking productions and loads of English speaking opportunities. But even having a little bit of Welsh is helpful, because you don't have to be completely fluent and amazing to work on a Welsh speaking production. You know, a lot of the time there are people that will help you out if you can't speak
Yes.
really amazing Welsh. You know, even if you're learning, it's still an asset to
Yeah.
have. With so many new Welsh productions coming out, it's it's a really good asset to have.
Yeah. And, you know, as you said, workable Welsh is what you need, isn't it? You don't need a degree in it. You just need to be
No,
able to
not
converse
at
and,
all. Shemai,
yeah.
that's a good start.
Well, you know, you said you work with Derek, Walking Weatherman. I mean, he always starts off with a shemai, and it goes a long way, you know?
It goes a long way.
It
So yeah.
it does. So for this summer now then, Ffion, you've got a couple of things lined up, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And what's great about the summertime really is you can take the work if you want it, but you know, if the weather's good and you want to sunbathe, then you can lay in your garden.
I haven't turned anything down yet.
Oh, well done. Well
Um,
done.
but yeah, I've got a couple of days lined up. Hopefully, I'll pick up a few more. But it has been nice having, you know, some time where I haven't had work.
Yeah.
And especially since, you know, some of my friends are still studying, whether that be like um they've just graduated, or whether they're going to do a master's, or some of my friends had gap years, so they're still in uni. Um,
Right.
and so it's nice they've all come home. So I've had some time to see friends. Yeah, I've done a little bit of traveling, which is good.
Lovely.
Um, but yeah, my main priority at the moment is to learn as much as I can and pick up as much experience as I can.
Definitely. And you know, I'm not dissing degrees at all in university, but you're probably a lot more forward than a lot of your friends are that maybe have just come off uni courses or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, perhaps. I think especially for like media degrees, like none of my friends pursued that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I obviously never did one, so I don't know. But from the impressions I've got, experience does go a long way, and
Yeah,
using them years to get experience, whether you're still doing your degree or not, you know, it does go a long way. Um,
definitely.
I think it brings your confidence up, and it shows that you're capable of the job. You know, it's showing that you hands on, you can do it.
Yeah.
But
A,
that's
a,
a
lo-
personal choice.
a lot less debt.
A lot, yes.
Ah,
That
yeah.
is nice.
I know I've got a daughter who's just finishing paying off her student loan now, but it's been a long haul for her, you know?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, that is nice. And I can just tag along with my friends that are in uni. If I want to have the social aspect,
yeah,
it's great. Best of both worlds.
you've got it made, girl. No, listen, lovely catching up with you today.
Yes, you.
Um, and I
Thank you
just
for
wish,
having me on.
no, thank you for taking part, and I just wish you all the luck in the world,
Thank
and
you, Lisa.
you know, just put the feelers out and
Yeah,
do
I'll keep going.
keep
Everyone will know my name eventually.
exactly, and you know, you've got the world is your oyster. The summer is for you, and try on lots of different things, and decide, you know, where you're going to go, you know. But for now, you're quite a newbie to the scene, so it's a good place to be, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. I love the industry. I love all the roles that I've tried. I can't complain, like it'll all work out in the end. And the most important thing is that I enjoy it and I'm happy doing this job.
Definitely.
So yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, Ffion, lovely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.